Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular council meeting of September 23rd, 2025. It is called the meeting to order at 9:31, and I ask the clerk for the roll call, please.
Mayor Sidney.
Present.
Revimo. Councillor Legree.
Present.
Councillor McWhorter.
Present.
Councillor McDonald.
Present.
Councillor Cebulski.
Present.
Councillor Andrew Dick.
Present.
Mayor Sidney, we do have quorum, and I should probably note for any members of the public who are watching this meeting today or after the fact, as to the reason why the meeting is starting at 9:30 p.m. And it is because it is immediately following our previously scheduled meeting that started at 5 and has run until 9:30.
Thank you. As we gather, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all of the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Can I please have you stand for O Canada? Any declaration of interest? Hearing and seeing none. Moving down to Committee of the Whole. The Renfrew Town Council convened Committee of the Whole to consider reports for recommendations to Council. Mover, please. Revimo, second by Councillor Legree. All in favor? We are now in Committee of the Whole. I will E.2.1, old wastewater treatment plant. That Committee of the Whole recommend the Renfrew Town Council direct staff on next steps regarding the old wastewater treatment plant. Mover, please. Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Legree, and I will turn it over to Manager Springer.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor. So at the August 26th regular meeting, a notice motion was considered asking for an updated report, and this is that report. So since August 26th, the Public Works team has secured the exterior doors and windows of the building with plywood, with the exception of the upper level windows and the roof skylights. However, no external means of accessing these are readily available. These costs have been absorbed by the operating budget. The Public Works Supervisor has examined the open tanks and has indicated that filling of the tanks with soil is not reasonably feasible with internal resources. An estimate for contracted services to fill the tanks with material has been developed using local contractor rates based on the following assumptions: that there are 3 tanks present that are exterior to the building, and they have an approximate value of just over 4,000 cubic meters. The town of Renfrew would supply this soil material from our local resources, such as the town pit or other sources. The tanks would be dewatered, and long-term drainage would be established by drilling holes in the bottom of the tanks per the 2018 tender specifications or by other means. The metal railings would be removed in order to allow access to the tanks. The structural components of the tanks would not be removed, and material would be placed inside the tanks and would not be compacted. The estimate assumes 1 week of site preparation and 2 weeks of material handling, including a loader, 2 triaxle trucks, and a large excavator. The work would be overseen by the town of Renfrew with no assistance from professional consultants, and staff time has not been included in the cost estimate. The cost estimate for this is estimated at $100,500, inclusive of non-refundable HST. Filling the tanks based on this methodology and the assumptions addresses the immediate concern of having the tanks filled. However, this methodology could result in issues and cost increases down the road as follows. So the original plan was to use clean concrete and brick from the demolition to fill the tanks. As we would be using clean fill for the current approach, the alternative disposal of the concrete and brick would be required when the building is ultimately demolished. The proposed plan does not include the removal of structural components inside the tanks or compaction of the soil material inside the tanks, which may result in issues when the remaining features of the site are demolished and the site is ultimately reinstated to a natural state. Settling a fill should be expected, and potential top-off of the material in the future may be required. We additionally do have an update on full demolition. So the updated costs for complete design, tendering, demolition, material disposal, and site restoration, overseen by qualified consulting engineers, based on inflation since the work was last tendered or quoted, is $701,600, inclusive of non-refundable HST. I will note that should council wish, a site visit can be arranged, and the site is accessible by vehicle, although there's a couple gates that staff would have to get you through first. So we have a couple options, and these options do focus or do not include the option to fully demolish the site, because we had previously put that to council and that was defeated, as is noted in the CAO's comment. So our options are to proceed with the draining and filling of the soil, draining of the tanks and filling soil of the open tanks as described above, without professional consulting oversight, which again is estimated at about $100,000. Or we could look at getting support and oversight from a professional consultant through a revised scope of work that would include the removal of the structural components inside the tanks and material compaction. A very rough estimate is about $200,000 for that. And in terms of financing this work, we could start immediately, and council can determine where they would like to finance this, or we could wait till the 2026 budget. We can also look at postponing any demolition work at the site, and council can direct staff to conduct regular site inspections. What regular is would have to be defined to ensure that the external fencing, signage, and building remains secure. Council can also provide other direction as appropriate. So in terms of the impact, again, to just fill the tank with soil reduces the liability risk for the lowest cost, but there are a number of unknowns in terms of the suitability of that course of action and the long-term effects. To get some professional opinions and professional oversight mitigates a lot of the unknowns that are associated with option 2A. However, it does result in a cost increase, noting that the cost estimate is very rough. And in terms of financing the work, council can determine whether to undertake and fund the remaining interim safety and security measures immediately with reserve financing or other funding, or we can postpone to the budget for 2026. And in terms of leaving the site as is, with the addition of regular to be defined site inspections, the site currently meets the minimum recommendations from our insurer and legal team. Risk and liability are inherent in all aspects of the town's activities. It is a decision of council to determine if this level of risk is acceptable, and this is where I do believe there is some value in a site visit. That's all I have for now.
Councilor McDonald. Oh, Director Withers, you have something to add?
Thank you. Just very quickly, I did attend the site recently with the manager, and there's about a 7-foot high barbed wire fence surrounding the entirety of the plant. There is a gate that I think could be secured a little bit. I think you could maybe wiggle through where the gates come together, but I think you could potentially, or very likely, figure something out to make that to where you can't wiggle through it. I would say you would have to be pretty determined at this point to get inside the perimeter of that fence. Again, it's 7 feet high. It's got barbed wire at the top. I think the main issue was that we did have a man door that was open. A gate was open, and people were getting in through there. The building is boarded up, and you can't get into the building. The only wild card would be the tanks if someone did get into that 7 foot high barbed wire fence, which again I would say the risk is fairly low. Of course, anything could happen. It's up to council to determine what the comfort level is, but it's really a question of is it worth that kind of money to go beyond what's there already. Thank you.
Yeah. Councilor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you, I just want to confirm, are we currently complying with all legal and insurance expectations?
Manager Springer.
Through you, Mayor, I believe that is open to interpretation per every individual. It is my opinion, as noted in the report, that we meet those requirements, the minimum requirements.
Councilor McDonald.
Thank you. Just to follow up, did I hear correctly? We need to establish routine property checks to ensure we are complying with expectations, or do you have something in mind right now?
Through you, Mayor. Sorry, yes, that is correct, and that is the one outstanding item from the advice that we've been given, is that routine inspections need to occur, and that needs to be defined, whether that is, an off-grid security system, or a weekly check-in, or a daily check-in, or a monthly check-in. Council needs to define that.
Yep.
I think that's one thing I'd like to define as we move forward. Obviously, the floor will be open up for conversations, but that we establish what that means to us in terms of the routine check, and to note it and record it. Thank you.
Councilor Degree.
Through you, Mayor Sidney. So I have a question, I guess, then a comment. I just want to confirm. So 4,000 cubic meters, and I can be corrected, but 1 cubic meter is like 1,000 liters. So is there like 4 million liters in these tanks, like volume? Am I looking at that correct, or am I wrong with my numbers? Looking at Councillor Spolsky too. Okay, and while he's figuring that out to see if I remember from school, I guess my thought is that I agree with the director and manager. We secured the windows, doors. We have a 7-foot fence. If we're doing inspections, I'm not interested in putting $100,000 or $200,000 in to make it more secured at this time. I do believe that the building needs to come down, but I think it's a 3 to 5 year project. We need to figure out, put it at the 2026 budget and start putting, I don't know if it's 50,000 or 100,000, what the right number is for the next 3 to 5 years, and then get it removed, taken down then. So that's kind of my thought on it, and I'll just wait to see if my math is right, because it sounds like very big tanks to me, but.
Manager Springer.
Through you, Mayor. Yes, Councilor Degree, your math is right. I will say that this is based on the drawings that were done in feet, so there is some conversion that may do that. But at least one of the tank is very, very large. It's probably, I think, like 90 meters or 90 feet. Sorry, 90 feet. Across, like long, and they are very deep, but they are only about half filled with water at this time.
Okay, thank you. It just seemed awfully big, but thanks.
Councillor Andrew Dick.
Thank you, Mayor Sidney, and through you. I like how Manager Springer said that. She said she gives lots of recommendations, and then she says, in my report, I say we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. But I like the fact that she said, it's up to each individual's interpretation. So now she's given her recommendation and her report, but now it's up to us, council, what's our interpretation. And I think from the first two, and probably the third here coming, is we've done everything that the legal has advised, our insurance has advised. We have it fenced. I agree we need to fix the little fence to get in. We need to put up some signages, maybe no trespassing, open pits, danger. But I like the fact that we were looking at, I think, 1.5 million to remove this at the start, and now we're down into the thousands. So this is good that we debated this hard, and there was lots of debate going on this. So yeah, I like fix the fence, put some signs up, let's move on.
Okay. Councillor Zbalski.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I was going to say a lot more tonight on this because there's a few things in the report that got me agitated, but I'm past agitated now, so I'll just talk about another solution in regards to trying to save another $100,000 if we deem the tanks need to be looked at. Manager and Director, through you, Mayor. I haven't looked at the pictures in a bit. Is there a concrete lid? Is there a steel lid? Is there anything? Is just wide open? What's the size of the opening?
4,500.
Okay. Thank you. Yep, that ends my questions at this point. I don't. Yep.
Review? Oh, sorry, Manager?
Through you, Mayor, yeah, Director Withers is a good estimate, but it is visible on Google Maps. If you actually go on Google Earth, you can do like a little drawing around it and give you a rough estimate of the 3 tanks.
Councilor McWhorter?
Through you, Mayor, just a statement. I'm in favor of option 2, postpone any demolition work, direct staff to conduct regular site inspections, and just ensure what we have in place right now, external fencing, signage, and building remains secure, and don't spend any more money. I think we're good.
Okay. Reeve, you have any?
I agree with Councillor McWhorter. Thanks.
Okay. So I'm hearing councils want option 2?
Direct staff on next steps. So let represent council.
So. Councilor Renfrew.
Thank you, Mayor Sidney. And through you, so I would propose on once a week from bylaw to go down, take a run when he's doing his duties, to scoot down there maybe every Friday, have a little look-see, and move on.
So we're going option 2 with once a week inspection. Council go with that?
Through you, Marcini, because it was initially in the report and part of the recommendations, the original motion could be amended to remove on next steps and inserted with option 2, so that if amended, it would read that Committee of the Whole recommends that Renfrew Town Council direct staff on option 2 regarding the old wastewater treatment plant.
And inspections once a week.
Further.
With inspections once a week? Okay. Okay,
So that's the add, so you need to move her in a second. So
moved by
Peter's moved.
Remo, seconded by Councilor Legree. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Property Standards and Bylaw Working Group. That the Committee of the Whole recommends the Renfrew Town Council establish a Property Standards Working Group and approve the proposed terms of reference as presented with direction to staff to bring forward the corresponding bylaw for adoption. Mover, please. Councilor McWhorter, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Turn it over to Director Guest.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you to all of council. At the regular meeting of council on August 26th, the Committee of the Whole passed a resolution basically directing council to approve the establishment of a property standards bylaw working group, and further that staff bring forward the draft terms of reference for consideration. An expression of interest was circulated to all members of council, with the composition of that working group being determined by the CAO. The terms of reference are attached for your review, and they specify the mandate, responsibilities, and composition of this group. The group will include 3 members of council, as well as necessary staff, again determined by the CAO. The Property Standards Bylaw Working Group will report back to Renfrew Town Council with a draft Property Standards Bylaw, including any recommendations. Thank you.
Any questions from council? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Moving on to Economic Development Advisory Committee. That the Committee of the Whole recommend that Renfrew Town Council approve the recommended appointment of a new business sector representative and adopt an amending bylaw to remove the 2 non-participating members and formally appoint the new member. Mover, please. Councillor Sabalski, second by Councillor McWhirter. And I'll turn it over to our clerk, please.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor City. So just to recap, the Economic Development Advisory Committee was formally established by Renfrew Town Council in January 2024 through bylaw 15-2024. That included the terms of reference, which noted that up to 4 representatives from various business sectors to serve on the committee, with an additional 1 representative from the BIA and 1 representative from the Chambers of Commerce. Following a call of interest, we had members of the general public put forward their name. We had 4 in total put forward, and all 4, as well as the representative from the BIA and Chambers, was put forward to council for consideration, and council passed the appointment bylaw in April 2024. Of those 4, once notified that they would be participating on the committee, 1 member declined to participate, so declined to participate from the establishment and never attended a meeting. And a secondary 1 has since provided their resignation in time for the September 9th meeting. So I should note that amending bylaw was never passed to formally dissolve the initial member's participation, and the other member, I would state, is Sherry Kobus, has since resigned, as I stated, prior to the September 9th meeting. So recommendation is being put forward to amend the appointment bylaw to remove those 2 non-participating members and put forward a new member. There was a name put forward, and it was put forward by Mrs. Kobus on her way out. It was a business associate of hers. We have since spoken to that individual, and it is Erica Amensky. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, and I do apologize to Erica if I'm not. But Erica has put forward her name. She would love to participate on the committee. Erica brings kind of a wealth of experience. She's a licensed real estate agent and has a strong background in residential design, construction, and municipal building inspection. She previously served as a building official for several municipalities and has a deep understanding of zoning bylaws, planning processes, and development requirements. Erica is also appointed as a realtor of record for the Township of Greater Madawaska. So considering her wealth of experience and her eagerness to join the committee, the recommendation is staff to, again, in the bylaw, amend the original bylaw to remove the 2 members and add her as a new member to the committee.
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Council. Moving on to scheduling Departmental Zone Information Meeting. That the Committee of the Whole directs staff to make necessary scheduling arrangements for a 1.5-hour Departmental Zone meeting session for Council members in October 2025. Mover, please. Councillor Spalski, second by Revimo, and I'll turn it over to our CAO.
Thank you, Mayor. So as part of our 2025 corporate work plan, a departmental zone session was to be scheduled with council to meet individually with each of the directors and the CAO. Taking the concept of 10 minutes with each one, that and a little bit of time for transitioning between, that should take about 1.5 hours. In order to space it out well so that everybody will be able to hear in their own discussions, it would be the mayor in the mayor's office, or even the council member's office, 2 council members in the boardroom, and 3 council members in the chambers. So then each director plus the CAO would spend 10 minutes with each member, with the first 5 minutes for a chance for the staff to review any current matters, project updates, or covering any new items that are in their department. And then the next 5 minutes would provide the council member opportunities to ask any questions. Any questions that cannot be answered at that time will be taken down and noted. All responses would be provided to the CAO to share out to council following the session. So there's a couple of options. You could look at scheduling it in October. or you could look at going into November, or if council no longer is considering this option, we could look at canceling this work plan task, or any other changes that council may be wishing to look at.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor, to you. This is just my opinion. I think I understand what we are trying to do, but I'm totally against this format. I've heard it referred to as a speed dating approach, which can lend itself towards the superficial, lacking potential deeper conversations if required. And we further have staff repeating their talking points numerous times. But most importantly, I feel this needs to take place in an open session for accountability and transparency. I like the idea behind it, but I think we need to bring it into an open session. Also, and I've done this before, if we really want to meet with staff, we can set up a meeting with them through the CAO. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Councillor Degree.
Through you, Mayor Sidney, so I'm not going to echo Councillor McDonald's words, but I agree fully, and that's basically what I had to say. I won't be supporting it tonight. I think it's a waste of time, and it's not transparent at all. So, and I think it needs, discussion needs to be done in this room on camera, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Any other questions? Councillor Zabalski.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mayor. I have to echo what the boys are saying. I don't see the need for a director to repeat themselves 7 times when it could be said once in an open forum and us hear and answer clear and concise from there.
Any other questions? Revimo?
Sure. I like the idea because it was an attempt to do something different and to address an issue, but sensing that it's not going to get 100% support, then you don't want to drag people kicking and screaming into something, so, take a look at something else.
Any other discussion? All right. All in favor of this going to council? Opposed? That's defeated. Moving on to downtown BIA request. The Renfrew Town Council approved the request from the downtown Renfrew Business Improvement Area. Oh, sorry, yeah, jumping ahead of the game. The Renfrew Town Council rise from the Committee of the Whole. Mover, please, Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Legree. All in favor? We are at a Committee of the Whole at 9:59. Now moving on. The Renfrew Town Council approved the request from the downtown Renfrew Business Improvement Area to install the traditional nativity scene in Low Square near the front of Town Hall from the last week of November until the removal in January. Mover, please. Councillor McDonald, seconded by Councillor Sabalski. Councillor Legree. Councillor McDonald, what do you from the BIA want to talk about it?
Sorry, we're talking right now about the nativity scene, right? Okay, I'm just wondering, can we not just make a blanket approval so that this does not have to be an annual exercise for council? As it stands now, I'm taking we have to do this every year. I'll direct that towards you, Mayor.
I'm assuming we could do that if it passes. But I think we need to have a discussion first of it. Councillor Anderdeck.
Thank you, Mayor Sidney, and through you. And with all due respect, I think this should come every year. This isn't a patio where we can blanket it. The world's changing, and sometimes it's not a nice place. And I think this topic might be controversial maybe in 5 years, maybe in 6 years, maybe never. But I think we should approve this every year. That's just my thoughts. I'm in support of it, but I would like to talk about it every year, even if it's only for 30 seconds, if that's okay with my fellow councillors.
Any other discussion? Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, and I'm okay to go that direction also, if that's what the floor wants.
Any other discussion? I'm going to be devil's advocate. The world is changing. Renfrew is getting more diverse. There's a number of different cultures, religions, beliefs, and the comment's been made numerous times that the town hall and the property should be a neutral place. So I'm just throwing that out there as to this is sort of focusing on one thing. I'm just being devil's advocate. I'm not saying I'm against it or for it. That's my concern, is that we are becoming more multicultural and there is more than just one. So, yes.
Thank you, Mayor. To that point, and I agree with you, it should be neutral grounds. Considering the time factors, is there other options then if that's the position we're going to take?
I don't know if there's other options. I think, maybe a discussion between the United Church and the Catholic Church, because there's a property in between the two of the buildings on Pont Street, could be an option. I don't know. That's just the first thing off the top of my head. But, yeah, Councilor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. And back to you. Perhaps we can bring this back to the next BIA meeting and speak to the coordinator, because I'm seeing that this request came through them. Is that something you want us to look at?
Councilor Anderdeck.
Mayor Sidney, I didn't want to call point of order, but I think we kind of got off topic. We have a letter asking to put a nativity scene on. I think we need to vote on that and discuss that. I think you guys were getting off topic a little bit. I think that's another time, another place. We should vote on this tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Good point. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence. Is there any of the correspondence that you would like to discuss? Oh, sorry. Yeah. I don't have anything that way.
Through you, Mayor Sidney. And just, I guess, maybe to circle on to the agenda, under the external boards and committees, both the Renfrew BIA minutes were attached, which rose the matter was just discussed on the floor, but also there was a discussion point from the
Councilor Legre?
Through you, Mayor Sidney. So over the summer, the ministry confirmed that funding under the Preventing Auto Theft Grant is strictly limited to initiatives directly related to the auto theft prevention. This narrows the scope from the previously employed support for broader community safety initiatives. Of the proposals submitted by the working group, only electric speed signs and theft-related hazard signs were identified as acceptable. No further updates have been provided regarding the previously purchased vehicle assets. The ministry also suggested exploring community partnerships with the local OPP and Renfrew County Crime Stoppers. While staff funding is not permitted, material support may be provided. The group is initiating discussions with both organizations to explore potential initiatives. Sorry, lost my spot. My computer shut. Staff noted that Yeamans has been working to secure access and authorization for 9 proposed sites and is ready to proceed with camera installation at the roundabout. However, due to the current political sensitivities around cameras and municipal speed enforcement, the working group recommends pausing installation until further information is gathered and discussed. This includes ensuring public communication clarifies that the cameras are not intended for speed enforcement or revenue generation. Their primary purpose remains auto theft and violent crime prevention. Though they may also support broader community benefits such as liability protection and weather monitoring. The group will continue to explore appropriate initiatives in partnership with the community partners. However, there is concern that the full utilization of the grant funding may not be achievable due to the narrow scope. While cameras are a valuable tool for the community safety, allocating the entire grant to camera-related expenses may not be realistic. And if there's any questions, the clerk and myself can try to answer them. Thanks.
Any questions from council? Hearing, review.
Bring us see those 3 cars on Gov Deals? They seem to be disappearing. I've never seen them. I've heard we have 3 cars.
Councillor Green?
So as of 3 weeks ago, I can assure everything is still in the same spots. Unless something happened in the last 3 weeks, but they are locked in a compound, so.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Moving on to correspondence. Is there any of those correspondence? Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'd like to remove H1 and H2, or that might be the wrong terminology, but I want to speak to that.
Okay. So everything's just for information, so we can speak to it.
Okay, thank you. With regard to both those correspondence, and I might move this way moving forward, I know it's up to us individually to respond to them if you want to, but I guess right now, do you have a comment on that? That's as the head of the council here. Do you have a comment on either of those two? And further, is it something that we can do to direct staff to respond to them to make sure there's a proper response? I'll leave that with you.
I think we can just give, I think my understanding of staff responding is if an email comes directly to us, they don't respond. If it gets forwarded to them or it gets sent to them, they can respond. But I just want to make sure I get that clear. No? I got that wrong?
I got it wrong.
Clear?
Do you want me to address that? Through you, Mayor Sidney. So the direction that had been previously provided with council was that when correspondent was sent directly to all of council, that it would be included on the next meeting of council. So next meeting agenda. It's at that time it was received as information unless otherwise directed. If otherwise directed, it is a decision of council to direct staff to directly respond to the email. Again, as the email is not directed to staff directly for information or request, and it is directed to council, so it is a direction of council that needs to be made formally at council to have a response provided. Through you, Mayor Sidney, and further to Councillor McDonald, if you would like to put a motion on the floor to direct staff to respond, and then
Yes, I would, and then we can discuss it on the floor. Thank you.
You're moving it? Oh, second it? Okay. So the motion is... that Renfrew Town Council directs staff to respond to the questions raised in resident R. Curley's email dated September 8, 2025 regarding procurement protocols for capital projects. Reeve?
Are we looking at two separate motions, or are we looking at both of them being responded to? Because I think that's what Councillor McDonald was indicating, and that's what I thought I was seconding.
Through you, Mayor Sidney. That Renfrew Town Council directs staff to respond to the questions raised in resident correspondence. R. Curley's email dated September 8, 2025 regarding procurement protocols for capital projects, and resident C. Riopel email dated September 9, 2025 regarding Mattaway.
Or do you want it more that all correspondence moving forward? Or just these two?
That's it.
For now, Mayor, to you, for now, I'm okay with these two, and I think if we just judge it accordingly as we move forward, especially for the personalized ones, I think that's important. Okay, thank you.
All right, so moved by Councilor McDonald, seconded by Revimo. Any questions? Discussion?
Thank you, Mayor Sidney, and through you. As I appreciate Councillor McDonald's motion here to ask staff to respond, I'm just rereading Miss Riopel's, and she hasn't, from what I see, she hasn't asked for a response. She hasn't asked a question. She's just stating her thoughts and her anger and her displeasure and this, and that's good. And I think we as councillors should respond to her if we so choose to on this email. Did she send it? I'm just reading. And it's kind of awkward because Ms. Riopel's sitting here, so it's kind of an awkward conversation. I'm trying to be professional, but I'm not trying to act like she's not here, but I kind of have to. Did Ms. Riopel send it to any staff members, or was it strictly to the mayor, the Reeve, and
I never
council?
got it. I'm not on that.
Okay, you're not on that. That's fine. Did any staff member get this?
No, I confirm. Through you,
So-
Mayor Cindy, based on the email chain that is stated in the attachment, it was sent to Councillor Sobalski, Councillor Dick, Councillor Legree, Councillor McDonald, Councillor McWhorter, and Revimo.
Okay, then in my opinion, no staff member should be responding to Ms. Riopel. She did not address any staff member in this. She emailed us. We should be the ones responding if we choose to. What I'm reading, she wasn't looking for a response from any of us. She's just giving, like she says on the bottom, a very concerned taxpayers. So I did read this, and then I took notes, and I think I spoke on this tonight of my feelings of, I didn't specifically use this, but hopefully I represented her on certain issues. And then, so I'll leave it at that, and then I'm going to go to Ms. Curley's. And I just want to confirm before I keep talking, was there any staff members? Because I'm just seeing from to Carolyn, but then I see to John McDonald. So was any staff member, so if I could clarify that, Mayor Sidney?
Okay.
Through you, Mayor Cindy. This was forwarded to me by Councillor McDonald, which is why it looks to him. When I responded asking if it was sent to all of council, he had stated that he believes he was BCC'd or sent individually, and that he was aware of just himself. I can confirm that the clerk's department directly did not receive a copy of this email.
Okay, so then again, I feel, this is just me, one guy, I feel no staff member should respond to Ms. Curley, because she did not address this email to anybody. She does say at the bottom, I would love to receive a response from each of you individually, either by email or listed or by phone. That is now, she is now putting the onus on council, Reeve, and mayor. And whether we did that or not at her request, that's on us. Those are my thoughts, and I will vote accordingly on that, so.
Councilor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. And thank you, Councillor Dick. I totally understand what you're saying, and we'll just leave it on the floor and see how it plays out.
Okay. Any further discussion? Revimo?
Yeah, we better look, we better figure this out, because everything that comes in, you almost have to make an individual interpretation of it. Otherwise, we're going to look like a bag of turnips. So, you know, if we can get some kind of clear understanding, because I know I sent a note out to somebody and I was wrong. So, and I'm not being sarcastic. I was wrong. So, I don't want to do that again. So if we can just figure this out, but yeah, we need to figure it out.
Councilor McWhorter.
Just Through you, Mayor, just a statement. I also got a different email because I don't see anything on this one where she's requesting us to email her back. I must have read this wrong, or maybe I didn't get the same one everybody else did. Also, if she watches YouTube or watches the meeting tonight, many of the questions she has on this would have been answered, like the 2 or 3 projects already over budget that was discussed tonight. Public forum needs to happen. We're going ahead with that. There's a number of concerns on this that have been addressed tonight. So, but she doesn't ask for a reply, at least not on mine. So.
All right. Any further discussion on the motion? Let staff respond to these 2. Councillor Gray?
Through you, Mayor Sidney, I think it's as simple as if the email goes to the 7 or 6 or 5 councillors and that resident is looking for us to respond to get our feedback and our thoughts. If an email goes to like staff, like I'll use Director Guest because he's sitting right here, then they're looking for a response from his side. So I think it depends on who it's sent to, right? So in these 2 cases, I agree with Councillor Dick that yeah, this was for council to reply to as far as I can see. So.
Clerk?
Through you, Mayor Sidney, and maybe to provide a bit of clarity for council, I think where previous confusion has been raised is when an email goes to all of council in the to section, and that potentially staff are CC'd, or certain members of staff are CC'd. In the general realm of email, CC means carbon copied, which means you are copied on the correspondence. It is not directed to you. You're not in the to section, and therefore there is no action to be taken. I think this is where the discussion has been to bring correspondence such as this nature to the table for council's direction to respond. Again, whether staff was CC'd or not, they are not in the to section and therefore have not been naturally made to respond because it was not directed to them, and that is, I think, where some of the confusion is. In this case, in neither email was it directed to staff or CC'd to staff.
Councillor Gray?
Through you, Mayor Sidney. So if I get an email from a resident, I don't forward it to the clerk's department. I just respond back to them. So I don't know. Is there a reason why we're, like, councillors are sending, if it's directed to council, I don't feel we have to send it to the clerk's department to be put on here. I think the resident is, and I just want to know if I'm wrong or right here, the resident is just looking for a response from whoever she sends it to. The 7 of us, she wants to know our thoughts, or he wants to know our thoughts on it. But when it gets a little more trickier, I think, when we take that email and send it to the clerks now because it comes public. So I just would like your thoughts on that, because I could be.
Sure.
Through you, Mayor Sidney. So my thoughts are that when direction by an individual councillor is provided to staff, obviously there is no one member of council can direct staff, and therefore when previous responses from public were provided to council with a direction to staff by maybe one individual was asked to respond, council felt it was a best mechanism to make the matter discussion point on the agenda and to bring the matter forward in a public way so that there could be an open conversation about it. Again, staff, I would say through due diligence, as matters are brought forward, concerns are brought forward. We have Access E11, which is a complaint database. Staff have a very comprehensive way of tracking concerns and complaints and dealing with those. But when they come to council, if there is a concern that maybe it's not going to council, maybe council's not responding, or maybe they would like it part of the public record, that's when they come forward to the council agenda. And again, if staff are to respond to an email that is directed to council, then council needs to direct accordingly.
Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. And I think it was advised a while ago, and I forget from who, that it's going to all the councillors, that it's trying to further council business or council agenda, and that we were to direct the correspondence to the clerk. So that's the impression I was under. I could be mistaken, but if you want to clarify, I'll leave it up to you, please.
Through you, Mayor Sidney, and to you, Councillor McDonald. When council is responding to email with all of council CC'd in an open in an email, and there's an opportunity for discussion. So if resident A sends an email to all of council, Councillor B replies, Councillor C jumps in, that can be perceived as a meeting or discussion or advancement of business. We do have a policy or internal process where we technically don't CC or to all of council. We actually BCC you to eliminate that opportunity for discussion, advancement of business. So yes, I would discourage in practice advancing business when all members of council are included in an email chain. It certainly can be, and there is precedent set and case set where it could be classified as a meeting. So bringing a discussion like that to an open agenda where there can be an open discussion, a very public forum, is best practice.
Councillor McCord?
To you, Mayor, just a statement. The reason I'm having trouble with this email, it was never sent to me. The email address is wrong. That's why I've never seen it and didn't know anything about this. It's finished with CS instead of CA, so I never received it.
Councillor McDonald?
Thank you. And I'm okay to withdraw the motion now that we've had a good conversation about it and understanding. So clerk, you can advise me what to do.
Motion withdrawn.
Carry on. Moving on to bylaws. That the bylaws listed on the agenda of September 23rd, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time and passed. 82-2025 MOU with the County of Renfrew, Bonchester Manor Module Housing Development Project, and 83-2025 standing offer agreement with Garland DBS Canada Inc. Roof replacement at 1 Innovation Drive. Mover, please. Councillor Legree, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Council. Any notices of motion? Councillor Anderdeck.
It's a good one. Thank you, Mayor Sidney. I think this is a good one, a nice one that hopefully will happen in the 2026 budget. I would like to bring forth a motion that the town of Renfrew partner with Renfrew County Voices in allowing the individuals from Renfrew County Voices work in partnership with the town of Renfrew in painting the accessible parking spots full blue in municipal parking lots only, not on the streets, because we don't want them to get hurt. That was a lot of information, but I'm sure our clerk, Eric, will be able to make this sound most amazing. And I would like this to be for the 2026 budget, because we'd have to purchase paint.
Okay. Duly noted. Moving on. Any other notices of motion? Nothing closed. Confirmatory bylaw, that the Renfrew Town Council adopt the confirmatory bylaw 84-2025 and that it be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Mover, please. Councillor Legree, seconded by Rebimo. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Upcoming meetings of council, regular council meeting October 14th, which I believe has been changed now.
Yes.
Date will be moved. Economic Development Advisory Committee, October 14th. At 10 a.m. will also be moved. We are now adjourned at 10:25. Thank you, Council, for the great discussions and long day.